really eager for the Wonder Women Awards 2023 to begin. But at the same time, it's very important to get an industry perspective on the recent happenings and how things are shaping up in today's time. So to give us a brief sneak peek onto it, let me call upon stage Ms. Charuta Ambadekar, the Assistant General Manager, L'Oreal Paris, to enlighten us with her expertise on building a brand with a meaningful purpose. Please welcome Charuta.
Thank you so much for having me here and having L'Oreal Paris as a part of this event. I'm indeed an esteemed company. Some of the key themes I picked from the very, very insightful panel discussion were, it was all about creating support. It's all about a village. It's all about having a future generation of women who don't have to face the biases and stereotypes of the current generation. It's about freedom of choice, and it's about empowering women. And as L'Oreal, this is exactly what we are setting to do. The L'Oreal Group is world's #1 beauty company, and L'Oreal Paris, being the flagship brand, is world's #1 beauty brand. Can you guess how old it is? Any guesses?
70 years?
More? 100. It's 114 years old. Founded in 1909 by a French chemist in Paris. This brand still stays as fresh, relevant, and aspirational as when it started. And what's the reason for that? Of course, one is to do with the scale of the brand. It's present in 150 countries across, right? It's present in massive categories like hair care, skincare, makeup, as well as hair color. But that's not just it. The one thing that connects the scale, the size of the brand in all categories is our brand purpose, worth. 4 very simple words. I am worth it, but loaded with meaning, with relevance, and an agelessness. Right? But what does worth really mean? What does worth mean to us? What does worth mean to you? The definition of worth has really evolved over a period of time. And this is not something that we have established as a brand just yesterday. It's as old as 50 years. 1973 was the first time we incorporated worth it, and I am worth it, in our very famous Preference hair color commercial. And I'd like to share it with you to give you some perspective of those times.
I use the most expensive hair color in the world, Preference by L'Oreal. It's not that I care about money, it's that I care about my hair. It's not just the color. I expect great color. What's worth more to me is the way my hair feels. Smooth and silky, but with body. It feels good against my neck. Actually, I don't mind spending more for L'Oreal because I'm worth it.
Yeah? So it spoke about Preference, the most expensive hair color brand. So in those days, it was much more literal. It was about pricing. It was about, yeah, I'm worth buying an expensive thing. It was also a lot about the product, right? So what she says in the ad is, it's not just, it's supposed to color my hair, and it's supposed to do a good job at that, which it does. But it's also the sensorials of the product. How do they feel against the nape of my neck? How do I feel when I color my hair is very critical. While this remains an integral part of worth, even today, right, pricing and product, given that the amount of work that we put behind the R&D of our product, the technology and the science, but it's not just restricted to that. Worth has really evolved around exactly the themes that we discussed in our panel discussion, right? How can society shape women's choices? How can society ensure that women don't need to shrink back or calibrate themselves? They don't need to hold back. They can be themselves in front of the world. So worth really is the tension between internal factors. Inside, I feel very confident. I feel I can do everything, right? I have the conviction, I know my potential. And I have a lot of self-belief. But externally, there are biases, there are stereotypes, there is conditioning that needs to be shed. There is a familial expectation. Society expects me to be something, right? And there has been a systemic operation over a period of time that I really need to get out of. The environment is not conducive. And this is exactly where worth comes in. if we build this worth in between, then the internal me can really be the external me. And that's what we are trying to do, to really raise the ceiling, not just by communicating, I am worth it, I am worth it, I am worth it, you are worth it, we are worth it, in all our communication, but also supporting it with stories. Stories of women achievers, right? Rubina, I think you spoke about the freedom to make choices. I think, Richa, you also went there. So this is exactly what the local or the Indian meaning of worth is. Living life on my own terms, making my own decisions. Maybe those decisions are wrong, but that's fine, as long as they are mine. The freedom to do and the freedom to be. Because no matter what life choice I make, I'm worth it. We partnered with women leaders across various industries. Women like Navya Nanda, who is really making a lot of moves in social work. Women in STEM, like Dr. Jayashree Sharad, who's the top dermat in India. Mithali, of course, our cricketer with the highest number of runs scored. And Aditi Rao Hedri, who's been a brand spokes from entertainment. We partnered with them so that they could really recount their worth stories, and we then amplified these stories on media, in addition to the worth that comes across all our categories. I'll play a couple of films for you.
You're still single? Very much so. Still the single one with 10,868 runs. My relationship with cricket is what I treasure the most, and I feel like I have so much more to give to it. It's not just about hitting some boundaries, but breaking some too. Their words don't decide my worth. My words do, because I know my worth. I'm Mithali Raj, and no matter what life choice I make, I'm worth it.
L'Oréal Paris celebrates the power of women.
Another one.
A woman in science, how far can she possibly go?
Far enough to get to the top of my field as a dermatologist. Science doesn't see gender. It only sees talent and capability. My patients don't refer to me as Miss or Mrs. They call me doctor because my expertise comes before my gender, always. Their words don't decide my worth. My words do. Because I know my worth. I'm Dr. Jayashree Sharad, and no matter what life choice I make, I'm worth it. L'Oréal Paris celebrates the power of women.
Their words don't decide my worth, my words do. Because no matter what life choice I make, I'm worth it. So worth is very, very critical to us because it actually raises the ceiling for women, right? We motivate women, we inspire women, we egg them to do better through worth. But that's not enough. That's not enough. At ground level, there are still a lot of issues, and we spoke about it in the panel discussions. Are we happy with the pace at which things are moving? No, they are still very, very slow. Hence, in addition to worth, we have created a program called Stand Up, which is combating street harassment and providing trainings to men and women to protect themselves and to protect those around them. So we have all studied Maslow's need hierarchy in college, right? These are 5 levels of needs. It's called the motivational hierarchy as well. At the bottommost level, you have physiological needs, then comes safety, then comes love, belonging, self-esteem, self-actualization. So while worth as our program sits in the self-esteem, self-actualization, it's nothing if really the base is not there. Women's safety is a big, big issue. Sexual harassment outdoors is a big issue. In fact, as many as 80% women have faced sexual harassment in public places, and this is not India, this is across the world, including developed countries, right? So in India, I feel this number is 100. Each one of us, even being the privileged people and educated people from the families we come from, has experienced at least one incident when we are out. Right? I can see a lot of people nodding their heads. I have personally experienced it as well. But do I want my daughter to experience it? No. And for that, what do we need to do as a brand and as a society? We really need to stand up for ourselves and for those around us. So while 80% of women have experienced some kind of harassment, only 25% of victims say that somebody came and intervened. But when they did, it was a lot better. The situation improved, the perpetrator went away, and they felt safe. So it's very critical that we as a society learn how to intervene for ourselves and for others whenever we face such a situation. In India, in fact, the context is even deeper, right? Because firstly, street harassment holds back women. As a brand, we want women of worth to really venture out, and street harassment is not allowing them to do that. Not just that, in India, the extent of street harassment and the acceptance is like, हाँ ये ऐसा ही है. मतलब you have to deal with it. It's not healthy, and we really need to change that. And there is an additional layer of, in fact, the woman is not a victim, but she is the reason that's happened to her, right? She asked for it. She was maybe not wearing something appropriate. She called for attention. And this is exactly what needs to change. We need to change this mindset. And while we do that, we also need to be prepared on how to deal with these situations. So I'll play a video for Stand Up. This is a worldwide program that we have developed along with an NGO. And it'll just help you understand what I'm saying in a better way.
We see it happen everywhere, at any time.
80% of women have experienced sexual harassment in public spaces.
Like a suggestive comment,
a sexually explicit touch,
an inappropriate gesture,
or being followed. And it threatens our self-worth.
It takes over who we are.
We see it happen, but stay cautiously silent and uncomfortably look away.
Maybe because we don't know what to do.
How to help.
Or how to combat the situation.
I said I'm fine, so don't bother me.
The time has come to keep our heads up and to stand up for each other against street harassment.
And everyone can be part of the solution.
Sorry, I'm gonna pay for it.
Excuse me. Is this yours?
Can you help me, please? I'm looking for this direction.
L'Oréal Paris and the non-profit organization Right to Be have joined forces to teach men and women how to combat sexual harassment in public spaces with simple but impactful actions.
Learn how to combat street harassment at standup-international.com. Take a stand with L'Oréal Paris, because we're all worth it.
We want to be a part of the solution while the problem is very clear, very defined, and massive in scale. And for that, we have developed this 5D program. I urge all of you to take it, and I'll shortly come to that. But what are these 5Ds? Some examples when it comes to the first D, which is distract. You have seen in the video itself, right? They are trying to intervene into the solution, asking for directions, just trying to somehow stop whatever scene is going on. The second is to delegate. If I can't do it, let me find another person who can. The third is to document. Whenever you see something like this happen, take pictures, take videos. Maybe if the perpetrator sees somebody do that, that itself will, make them stop it. Or you have it for record if you do need it. The fourth one is to really directly approach and tell him, hey, what are you doing? You're making her uncomfortable. Stop whatever it is you're doing. Somebody saying that itself, many times kills the spirit of these people. And the fifth one is delay. After the incidents, it's important that you go approach the victim and tell her, I saw what happened to you. It's okay. It was really bad, but we'll deal with it, right? I hope you're all right. So this is the 5D training that we have developed. In fact, we are going to many, many colleges along with our NGO partners to really spread the word and to really make this big. Our ambition is to train 1 million or 10 lakh people by the end of this year. We are currently at a number of 4 lakhs, so there is still some way to go, but we know that it will scale up with the help of everyone. Please, please, please help us spread the word, because all of us want to be a part of the solution and to really stand for a safe place where women can be themselves and can be truly, truly empowered. Can I please ask all of you all to pick up your phones and scan this QR code? It will take 5 minutes of your time. There are a few simple details that you need to fill in, along with this very quick training on what is stand-up all about, and to equip you anytime, next time that you face this situation or see this for somebody close to you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'd like to introduce the wonderful L'Oréal Paris team who is here. So there's Sargam, Simone, and Dhruv. And they are the real superstars who make the magic happen. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Charuta, for taking us through the journey of L'Oréal Paris and for the wonderful sneak peek that you have given as the industry perspective. Thank you once again. But I could not hear the applause. So may I please request you? Thank you, yeah. Thank you for all the energy.